Chana here for Forever Football DRFC, your Doncaster Rovers fan channel. We're back with the proper tech, ready for the end of the season. Wow, we've only got a few games left, haven't we? And our playoff race is sinking deeper and deeper, like a hypnotist in a massive comedy stage show, deeper and deeper. And this is just going to get even harder, to be honest, if we don't pick up wins very, very soon. We can still get, 21 points if we can win the rest of our games, but I don't see us winning the rest of our games at the minute. If we could get a win, then maybe that'd be nice, but it's looking increasingly unlikely that we'll see more than 4 or 5 wins for the rest of this season. We just need to keep faith there will be, but it gets harder every week. But it's going to be interesting to see what we do. Obviously, we're up against a Shrewsbury that have been, they've been good and bad. They've been good and bad moments. I'll admit now, I think they're safe. I think that, I think they're focusing on getting their manager back to full health and then bring him back in. Obviously, Steve Cottrell's been suffering with COVID a lot, and he's been in and out of hospital, and obviously it's taken bad turns and good turns. So I'm just thankful that he's back home safe now. But it should be interesting to see how Shrewsbury do. Obviously, the manager situation has affected them quite a lot in this season, in my opinion. So it should be interesting. But as you can see behind me, brand new way of doing things. We've got a new vertical team sheet prediction, which will be the same for the actual team. The numbers for the player rating for tomorrow's review, they will be in a specific position as well, so stay tuned for that. And I'm going to tell you about something at the end as well, so stay tuned for the whole video, because I've got something that you guys can get involved with as well. But for now, guys, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, click the notification bell so you never miss a YouTube video, and let's get straight into this one. So we have to first have a look at our form. Of course, our form is not pretty to look at all. We faced Burton, obviously, in the last game. We lost 3-0 after that complete collapse in the second half. Josh Sims came out and said it's not the manager's fault, it's down to us as players, it's our responsibility. Well done to Josh Sims for that statement, because he's absolutely spot on. We can't blame the manager for this. There's a lot of far cry from the fans now, at the minute. If Andy Butler, it's been announced that Andy Butler, he wants to apply for the role permanently, and there's been a lot of far cry from fans saying, oh no, we're going to get relegated next season. Bearing in mind, this isn't his players. These aren't his players. This is Moore's squad that have given up on him. So we can't fully judge Butler. If he's going to be permanent manager next season, then we have to wait and see what he does with his squad. But as a manager, this is going to be a big learning curve going into next season if he is going to be the manager. Before the Burton game, we lost 4-1 to Wigan. Before that, we lost 2-1 to Bristol Rovers. Before that, we lost 1-0 to Charlton. Before that, we lost 1-0 to MK Dons, so that's 5 losses in a row. Before that one, we drew 2-2 with Gillingham. Our last win, I'm trying to find our last win here. Our last win was Butler's second game in charge, and it was against Plymouth on the 6th of March. We have not won since the 6th of March. That's embarrassing to see where we've come from. You've got rival fans saying, what in the world is going on at this club? And I know a lot of the fans have directed the anger at the board for not making a decision sooner, but Moore wants to move on. Moore wants to walk. The deal was agreed. He was gone to Sheffield Wednesday. Should the board have brought in, someone with a bit more experience? It's debatable, because you look at Butler and, I was speaking with Ian Danter from TalkSport, and you guys saw that video. I was speaking with Ian, and he said it's a continuity appointment, so it's going to be learning on the job. So, he's been through the ring. He's been through the absolute thunderstorm. He's going to come out the other side of this at some point. So, hopefully he can turn it around going into these last few games, but it gets harder and harder every week. But it's a continuity appointment, so it's a very 50-50. You didn't know what the board was going to do. Next season, hopefully, we'll bring in someone who can turn around this squad, whether that is Butler or someone else. But we'll see. But yeah, our last win was the 6th of March against Plymouth, and then obviously You know, we had like one or two draws in there with Northampton and Gillingham, and then the rest of them have just been losses since Crewe. Oh boy, this season's not been good at all. We have to just calm down, take a breath, move on to League One next season, in my opinion, because, you know, even though they're coming out saying, you know, we've still got 21 points to get out of this season, you know, it's not over yet. It realistically, in our form, you know, we can't see us turning this around at any point, so it's looking likely to be over at this case. Looking at Shrewsbury's form, obviously they lost 4-1 to Oxford United in their last game. Before that, they drew 0-0 with Gillingham, so another draw with Gillingham there. Before that, they beat Plymouth. Before that, they lost to Northampton. Before that, they lost to Portsmouth with 10 men. Well, they had 10 men, not Shrewsbury. But then they lost to Burton before that. They drew with Hull before that. So they had a good run of games there, a good run of 6 or 7 games. Inconsistency, yes. You know, win, draw. Going back from the top from the Hull City one, it was draw, loss, loss, loss. Draw, win. It was lost to Burton. They beat Burton. So it's draw, win, loss, loss, win, draw, loss. So, you know, hopefully the pattern continues and we get to deliver a loss on them and get our first 3 points since the 6th of March and get our first win in April. But it's increasingly hard, isn't it? It gets harder and harder. Obviously, their manager is Steve Cottrell. He's going to be, you know, resting at home. There's no rush for him to come back into the sport. So whoever's been taking over, I think it's the assistant manager that's been managing the team at the minute. You know, he'll be whoever's in there's continuing. You know, at least till we get some kind of confirmation on when Cottrell's coming back, but there's no rush like we said. But let's go into this predicted team. Obviously, it's on your screen right now. Obviously, I've gone with the 4-4-2. I felt it necessary to go with the 4-4-2. That's the formation, you know, and that's the thing with Butler in the Burton game. You know, he went with the right formation, he brought on the right personnel, and, you know, the players still had a bad game. So here we go then. So in goal, I've gone with Lewis Jones. No questions about it. Balcom, I'm sorry. I'm sure you're a great person, but after the mistakes in the game against Burton, sorry, you deserve to be dropped for that. Jones needs to start now. You know, we're not going to get playoffs this season, in my opinion, so we've got to see the season out. Let's drop some more of the low knees and let's play the kids, let's play the youth, let's play the future, and that starts with Lewis Jones in goal. Back four, Horton at left back, Greaves at right back, Wright and Anderson in there as well. That would be my preference for this one. I think that Greaves and Horton did a wonderful job in their fullback positions. They weren't the worst performers, they were actually two of the better performers on the field. We looked more ruthless with them at the fullback positions. You know, Reece James is still coming back from that injury, so I expect him to be on the bench. Halliday, I don't think's 100% yet, so I don't think I'll see him on the bench. But I mean, that could be likely. I think Halliday could be on the bench, but you never know, do you? I can't really make those sure predictions, so I've left him out the bench just to be on the safe side. But I've gone with Greaves and Horton because I think that's the best option. Wright and Anderson's obviously the better centre-back pairing. You know, obviously Joe Wright's one of the people out of contract in the summer. You know, is he going to go to Preston? Is he going to go anywhere else? I personally hope he doesn't go because I think he's one of the better first-team players. And he's also a long-term first-team player. We've got very... You know, apart from Coppinger, who's been here 17, 18 years, there's not a lot of long-term players left. There's a couple of players that have been here a few years. Whiteman was the latest to go back in January, but Anderson's been here, Wright's been here, Taylor's been here a couple of years, Halliday's now been here for a couple of years, same with Reece James, Maja Gomez, Lakila, if you count the year on loan, you know, has been here for 2 years about now, so... You know, obviously we've got there's not a lot of long-term, stays at the club, so we've now got to rebuild in the summer with a new manager and a new senior management team, and, you know, and hopefully Joe Wright will be a part of that. In the midfield, I've gone with Sims and Coppinger on the wings. No surprises there. I'd start both of them. Smith and Bostock in the midfield. Again, no surprise there. And up front for Jiri Okunabiri and Omar Bogle. Now, on the bench is where it's very interesting. Balcom, Lakilo, John Jules returns. John, Richards, James and Robertson. Now, if, and only if, Halliday is 100% fit to come back, at least on the bench, I would be replacing either John or Robertson. John or Robertson would drop out the bench and Halliday would come on. Gomez comes off the bench. In my opinion, he just needs time out to watch and learn from other people. In my opinion, but John Jules returning to the bench. Obviously, hopefully, he could get some game time on Saturday. I think if he doesn't get any game time, or he gets like 10-15 minutes at best, then I expect him to get at least maybe a half in the next game against Accrington on Tuesday. So that would be sort of where I would go with this. But you never know, do you? You never know. But it should be interesting to see what we do with this. And, obviously it's going to be a watch to see who we bring into the team. But what do we need to do then in terms of, predicting the scoreline? Well, it's a tough one, It depends on what we need to do against the team. We need to go at them from the front foot. Do what we did in the first half and just have a bit more clinicalness with your chances and take some more chances, because what we did in the first half against Burton was positive signs. It's the most positive I've seen Rovers in like 5-6 weeks. So we need to use what we did in the first half against Burton to our advantage and just go for it. Just go for it. If we do what we did in that 5-10 minute spell that let Burton score 3 goals, then we're going to lose by 2 or 3 again. And that's as simple as that. I'm going to go with a scrappy 1-0 win. I'll never predict anything less than a win, because that's being loyal to your club, in my opinion. So I'm going to predict a 1-0 win, but your head is telling you either a draw or a loss based on the form. But I'm going to predict a 1-0 win. I have confidence this week. So stay tuned for the lineup reaction stream, which will start about 5-10 minutes before the teams come out on Saturday morning. And of course, stay tuned for the post-match reaction stream on Saturday afternoon at the end of the match. We'll be live after the game. So for now, guys, thank you very much. My own channel from Premier Football, DRFC. I hope you like the new setup. And for now, guys, keep living the Rovers life. And at my friends is full time. Rovers side die. Come on! 3 points. That's all I'm asking for. Come on.